Hello everybody, I'm Jeanette and welcome to my kitchen. This year we're having Thanksgiving at our house and I'm sharing my Thanksgiving preparations with you. I'm trying to use as many products that we grow ourselves in my Thanksgiving dinner. Pumpkin pie is a tradition that's been long held as a Thanksgiving dessert. But I didn't grow any pumpkins. I did grow butternut squash, and I'm sharing with you today that if you make a butternut squash pie instead of a pumpkin pie, and you call it a pumpkin pie, nobody would ever know the difference. A couple reasons I prefer to do butternut squash pie in place of pumpkin pie is, number one, they're easier to deal with. They're so much easier with this smooth skin to peel and cut up than a pumpkin with all the different sections. It's just a lot harder to peel those things, and it just takes a lot longer. And with a butternut squash, you have this whole section right up here that is all flesh. Only a smaller seed cavity down here. So it's easy to peel, and then I can cut it up and I can cube it if I want to, or however I decide to prepare it. And then another thing is that butternut squash has a lot lower water content, so you end up with a drier product. Pumpkins are pretty high water content, and I don't like it soupy. And here's another reason. Often pumpkins are stringy. Now, a good pie pumpkin that you can find might not be too stringy, but butternut squash are never stringy. The whole flesh, up here or down here, doesn't matter, is not stringy. It's nice and smooth. So those are the three main reasons that I have for liking to use butternut squash instead of pumpkins. I don't claim that butternut squash is easy to peel, but it's much easier to peel, in my opinion, than a pumpkin. And you have to have a good potato peeler, but if you do, you can just peel it like that. And if you want to, you can just take smaller slices, but I try to get all of the lighter colored peeling underneath there down to the good orange flesh. For cutting it up, I need a pretty hefty knife because it's hard. But what I'll do is just slice down through here, 1/2 to 5/8 inch thick. And then I'll get down to the seed cavity. At that point, I'm going to turn it like this and cut down half that way. Then I need a spoon to just scoop out the seeds and that inner membrane stuff. When I get everything cut up, then I'm going to use a baking dish as big as I need, which I'm not going to make it, it's like 8 by 8. I'm going to spray it with cooking spray, because if you don't, this will stick to the bottom of it. I'm going to put all that in there, and after I get one layer, I'm going to give it a little spray again and keep putting it in there. Spread it out all evenly, and then give it one more spray over the top. This just will keep it from drying out too much. Now I'm going to stick this in my oven at 350 degrees and cook it until it's done. It'll take at least an hour, but I'm not exactly sure at this point how long it will take. I'll tell you when I'm through. It's been cooking for about an hour and a half, and they're fork tender. So I'm going to take them out and let them cool. I'm going to let these sit and cool overnight, and then I'll get to the pie making in the morning. Well, it's morning again, and the squash is all done. It's all cool, and now it's time to get on to making the pie. I set my oven to 425 degrees because with a pumpkin slash butternut squash pie, that's what you start out with. It's a really hot oven, but you start out at 425 degrees. Well, I've already got my pie crust prepared, so that part's done. Now I need 2 cups of this to make a 9 to 9.5 inch pie. I'll spoon out the squash, and it's got a little bit of liquid in there. I'm gonna not worry too much about the liquid one way or another. And even though this is still holding its shape, I'm going to mash it with my potato masher just a little bit, plus as I use the mixer on it, it'll go ahead and tear it up. I'll use my potato masher to go ahead and squish it down in there so I can get a fairly accurate measurement. Looks like I might have a couple bites left over for lunch today. The ingredients are all pretty simple for the pie, and it's only like about half a dozen, maybe 8 ingredients. And the first thing I'm going to put in here is 2 eggs, and what I've got is duck eggs. And that is only because duck eggs is what I have more than anything else. I'm going to be using this old hand rotary mixer to mix up my eggs and all the rest of the ingredients. It kind of comes in handy so you don't have to get out the big mixer and when you don't have some big heavy-duty long-term mixing to do. After the eggs are all mixed up, then all we have to do is mix in the rest of the stuff. That would be the 2 cups of squash, 3/4 cup of sugar, 1 can of evaporated milk, just a tiny bit, like 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to use pumpkin pie spice because pumpkin spice is something I have and I'd really like to get it used up. So I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. That's kind of hard to say. And then I'm going to use my rotary beaters to mix it all up again. This might build up your muscles a little bit. Get a little cardio workout while you're cooking. Well, it took some doing, but I finally got the stuff pulverized. Now all we have to do is pour it into the pie shell. I have a cookie sheet to set it on just in case. I don't think anything's going to happen with this, but I am going to set it on a cookie sheet. I'm going to put it in the middle shelf, which my oven's already there. For the first 15 minutes, you have to leave it at that really high temperature of 425 degrees. And then you kick the temperature back to 350 degrees and let it bake for another 45-ish minutes. I mean, you can check it and see. And if you watched my video about the cheesy spinach bake, where you stick the knife in to see if it's done, you're going to do the same thing with a pumpkin pie. You stick the knife into the center of it. If it comes out without a milky substance on it, then you're done. And if it's still milky, then you better cook it some more. Also, you can just jiggle it to see. If it jiggles in the middle too much and looks liquid, then you know it's not done. Let it cook some more until it sets all up. So hold on, we'll let that cook and then we'll look at it. When your time is up at 425 degrees, don't open the door, just lower your temperature to 350. That really hot first temperature helps set things up, and then the continued baking is going to go on now for 45-ish minutes. The timer's up. We're gonna see what it looks like in there. First thing I'm gonna do is just jiggle it. And nothing sloshes in the middle, so I'm thinking it's done. And then I will just stick my knife into the center and see what it looks like when it comes out. Now there's some stuff on there, but it's not milky stuff, which is what it would like if it was uncooked eggs or milk or something like that. That looks like it's fully cooked. I am going to give it like 5 more minutes though. Well, it's all done. I'm satisfied with it. We will let that cool, and that's going to be really good. Everybody loves pumpkin pie. Well, I say everybody, but that's not entirely true. A lot of people love pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. It's a tradition anyway. Make sure you watch the video about the walnut pie. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.